Okay. Hello everyone and welcome to our Wednesday webinar. I'm going to ask Jeff to give some information about what VIP is and also have a wee chat about the new retail kit incentive, which really will be beneficial for everybody. So Jeff, over to you.
Yeah, VIP is an award for those who retail consistently over £800 every period, every 4 weeks. It's £600 distributor price. Now, I qualified for it for my first time ever last year, and I loved it because it's a champagne reception. You get the gala dinner and the meeting free, so it's, you know, a £40 a head at least. So that's great, and to qualify for that, for doing something that's building your business, is ideal. There's another way of qualifying it if you go over Premier a number of times as well, but for me, I'm trying to retail my way there. So I think it's 8 times you have to qualify, and I've done it, I believe, twice, or perhaps 3 times. I need another 5. Now, I don't want to leave it until period 12, which is the last one, and try and get the last 5 in from there, because we all know that retail varies from season to season. Obviously, from Christmas onwards, it's going to be fabulous, particularly as last year was so good. So I'm tracking my figures, and I know that I'm just over £110 short of VIP, and I've done my customer bases in the first 2 weeks of the period, so I know I've got 2 more weeks to drum up that £110. So I've been blanket dropping. I put out 105 catalogues on Tuesday, and I'm picking them up tomorrow, and I'm believing that I'm going to get some orders. I've already had one of my customers ask for a sausage dog duvet, which is good. But I need to get about another £110
over a 2-week period. That's excellent. That's excellent. So it's £800 of catalogue price.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, good.
So we were talking earlier about this new incentive of getting free catalogues, or you can get free catalogues if you retail. I think it's £1,800 a month. You can get a free set of 50 catalogues, but you can get.
I've got 1,500 down here. I took me notes. However, I don't know if that's, and I'll maybe try and clarify that, but I'm not sure if that's distributor price or if it is catalogue price. Does anyone want to clarify that if they already know?
I'm going to check my email now.
Okay.
I believe that's distributor price 1,500. But I know there's the 1,500 and 1,800, but I wasn't sure whether that was pounds and euros.
1,800. The 1,800 must be euros, I think.
Yeah, it is, Jane. It's €1,800, £1,500.
Okay.
And does it say
retail?
Retail. Okay, so that's catalogue.
That's
I
catalogue.
would think that's what it means.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And if you get £500, you get 50% off. So I've already qualified at the £500. So I could buy another 50 at I think 50% off.
£20.
Yeah, £20 instead of
right.
34.50 or something like that.
That's right. Yeah. That's
So
exactly right.
So I've got it here. You're right, with the retail 500 or €600. So that one was right. And you get your 50% of making it just.
Everybody's getting a discount just now of 26%. So your retail kit is £40.
And making it £20 if you do £500.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And you're right, Jeff. Did you notice though that you have to order them once you've qualified.
Yes, yeah. You get an email to say that you've qualified, and then they don't come automatically. You have to request them. So, that they're added onto your order.
That's right. I think that's really important. So it's not just for team, this sort of recoup. I feel it's important for us as a group, whether we're cross-line or whatever, it doesn't matter, just to make sure that people are aware of what they need to do if they're wanting free catalogues.
Yeah.
There's, is there anything else? New starts, shall I? New starts, it said they do £300 plus in the first 3 periods, they get a free kit. So that too is a great, that's a great one, because a lot of people will come in, perhaps online only.
Yes.
So
What did you say there, Jane? A lot of people, what, sorry?
May come in for only online retail. So what this is doing, sorry, Jed?
I hadn't thought of that. Yes, yes, that's well spotted, Jane.
Thank you. So what this will do is encourage people to qualify for catalogues, still free of charge, but it will also ensure that the catalogues will be used during the duration of when they should be used,
yes,
rather than going out when there's a new catalogue coming out. And that to me makes much better sense. Much better sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're right, Jeff. It'll be really beneficial for people like yourself who are still blanket dropping for 2 weeks of the period.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I go on to something else? And it's probably something, it is something we all know, but we forget. When you're looking at your target for the period, try not to put an order in on the last day of the period to make sure you get a target. Work from the beginning of the month so that you're not playing catch up.
Yeah.
So if you want to hit a target of £800, to be fair, it used to be because of the out of stocks. We used to have to target 1,000 to make sure we got 800. And we don't really have that problem anymore, which is great. But if we bear it in mind, it means that if we put a 250 target for ourselves in, and then we work backwards with our books. So if you're getting 50 pence a book, that's 500 books you need to do in a week. Or if you don't want to do it all with books, then you need to know how many posts you need to do and mix and match. But if you do that at the beginning of a period, by the time it comes to week 3, like Jeff, you might only be £100 off your target. Now that's achievable without stress. Whereas if you've put week 1's order through on the last day of the previous period to make sure you reach that target, you're giving yourself undue stress. Does that, I mean, I know you're all aware of those, because those things we don't need trained on, but we sometimes need reminded. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or are you thinking
Yeah.
I'm talking through my
No,
thing I'm sitting on?
I just wanted to say that this is week 4 though, starting tomorrow. Yeah, am I right? Or is it my brain that's got it?
Well, I've been on holiday.
You've been on holiday and I've
I've
been in
been on
bed.
holiday. So yes, you could be right, because
This is week 4.
Yeah, 1 week, 1 more week.
Okay,
Wow, I'm impressed with myself.
yeah, yeah.
I was just checking because you said a couple of weeks to Jeff. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
I did say a couple of weeks to Jeff because I thought Jeff said a couple of weeks. So
Yeah,
I was sort of
yeah,
parroting.
yeah. I put out Tuesday for 30, so I'm going to have 2 pickups. I'm going to do Friday for Monday, so I'm going to have 2 pickups in the last week. But
Okay.
there was some celebration from someone important, and I didn't think putting out catalogues and knocking on doors on last Thursday would have got me much sense.
Yeah.
was
No.
there lots of parties?
Yes.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
did your street party go?
Very well. It was quite subdued, so people were just in their areas. But it was nice, and we had friends turn up as well. So
that was
we
good.
spent time with them. But yeah, so
Good.
yeah, I decided. Although I put out catalogues Friday for Monday, I didn't then do anything over the Jubilee celebrations, and I've only just put catalogues out on Tuesday. Because I just thought over an ordinary bank holiday, people lose catalogues, they disappear. It was half term as well. And I thought I have enough problems getting catalogues back without the added complication of the Jubilee.
Yeah,
That's
agreed with the blanket
particularly-
drop, definitely agreed. I put a customer
Right.
drop out and it was almost 50-50. People, it's a drop that pretty much everybody always buys from. It's probably the best drop I've got. And it was, some of them hadn't even looked at it, but it was just that it was an unusual weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know if it spent a fortune. It was just a very unusual 4 days, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. And people are out of routine, aren't they?
What about, hey Angela, just let's say Angela, hiya, since it's an informal sizzle we're having tonight. Am I on mute? I didn't know it was on mute.
Aye. What about you, Joe? Were you at any parties?
Yeah, Friday afternoon. I worked right up to Friday lunchtime. Stuart and Abby were off Thursday, well, all 4 days. I wasn't. And I came home about 12 o'clock and spotted a magpie on the bird feeders in the back attacking the baby house sparrows. So I launched myself outside. So I go, yeah. But one of the silly buggers who neither one will admit shut the patio door. I smashed my face in the patio door. Nearly broke my nose. Oh, you can still see there.
Oh my God, so you can.
Knocked myself stupid. So yes, we had a party Friday afternoon, but I didn't make it beyond about tea time. I came back in.
So
I've thumping headache all weekend.
When was that? Right, I'm going to show you. I don't know about up in your area, Jane, but in Scotland we didn't have a lot of street parties. It's not really the done thing. Did you have one, Jane?
No, and I do know quite a few people who had garden parties.
Yeah.
And that tends to be probably more the thing up here than having a street party. But then again, I live in a rural area, and most of the people I know live in rural areas. So how can you have a street party?
No.
But I don't live in a rural area, and there was no street parties that I know of.
I went out with my catalogues on the Wednesday, which is at least a day, if not 2 days earlier. And I'm glad I did, really, because there were so many road closures, streets being closed off. I wouldn't have got round with my catalogues because you could do it any day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday or Sunday. We couldn't close our road because there's a bus runs along it and they won't do it. So, but all the little cul-de-sacs and what have you, they were all closed at some point of the weekend.
My goodness.
Bunting everywhere. The front of my house is still covered in it.
That's what I was trying to show you the difference, because I knew that like down south it's massive. It's absolutely massive. I think it might be a lot to do with the Scottish geography though as well.
Yeah.
We were in Blair Athol. We've got a camper van. And we were up at Blair Athol, which is not far from Pitlochry. And there was people up on the sites who had a lot of bunting out. But it was mostly English people who were there because of the half-term holiday, because the schools they were off for 2 days, but they'd already had their half-term. Joe, how did your, how quickly, I think the last time I spoke, which was 2 weeks ago, you had just applied for your credit facility, although it's not called that.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, the page.
How quickly, I think you had already been.
Yeah, I had to send, actually, it's a good point, Jane. I had to send Michael a message because what it does is there's a friendly email comes out a few days in reminding you of your deadline. And I looked at the deadline and thought, hang on a minute, that doesn't take the bank holidays into account. Now, it didn't matter to me because I turn it around pretty quickly and I get it banked. And then as soon as it shows in the account, if you get it banked before about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, our post office, it shows in the account immediately. So I can, by the time I get home, I do the deliveries Tuesday night, bank Wednesday morning. By the time I come home Wednesday evening, I can make the payment. It's not a problem. But I've been put an order through on the Saturday, and because of the double bank holiday, and then Saturday and Sunday, she was then on the back foot trying to get the. And I just said to Michael, I said, we've not taken the bank holidays into account. I said, I know we work all kinds of days, regardless of what they are, but people still can't bank the cash on a bank holiday. Then how do they pay you when they can't bank the cash? And he went, oh, I think the words were, whoops, when it came back on the message. So they set it up automated to run on 7 working days, and had not taken into account last week the double bank holiday when those emails went out. So it would have confused people.
Sorry.
But yes, they'll remember bank holidays next time, I think.
I suppose, and there's always 2 days at a bank holiday because you've usually got the Friday and the Monday. And I know bank holidays are sometimes only 1 day for some things, but
it's mainly only 1 day. It's normally only Easter and Christmas where you get 2 on the bounce. It's normally only the Monday.
That's
and of course, this was a one-off for the Jubilee. It's normally Easter, Good Friday, Easter Monday. Then you've got Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and New Year's Day. I know you get the day after as well, don't you, in Scotland? We only get 3.
So, did you use, to go back to your paying in,
you
use the post office, wait a minute, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, mute.
You use the post office to pay in to your account?
I have done to my bank, yeah, and that started because of lockdown, Jane, because I wasn't traipsing into town and spreading myself any further than I wanted to go because of lockdown. And I find it, even checks you can pay in at the post office, they take a little bit longer, but you just got to use a paid in slip, and they have envelopes specific to your bank. Fill it all out, put it in there, and all they literally do is send it on to the bank. So you're probably 24 hours longer than it would take if you walked into the bank with the check. I've never had a problem with it. Cash, you go in, you put your bank card in their little machine, and like I say, by the time you've gone out the shop, it's in your account.
I didn't realise it was as quick as that, Joanne. I thought I had we don't have banks in our area now. All the branches have closed.
Yeah. We have to go into the town centre. There's nothing close by.
What I would say to everybody then, remember and warn everybody, anybody that's using a post-pay account, give themselves 1 day less to make sure that just in case the post office takes that wee bit longer.
Well, actually, that's a good point. But I've now got 2 questions. Well, no, 2 questions. Sorry, try to stop a cough coming out.
Oh, bless you.
I didn't want to start coughing in the middle of it, but the first question is just for new people who may watch this video later, just break down what you're talking about, either Joe or Jane, just for new people.
So Jane's asking about the post pay. And the post pay, basically, it's about postponing payment. So you don't pay at the point that you input your order. There is a function there that says, you got your PayPal or credit card or debit card, or it says credit facility, and you do have to apply for that credit facility from HQ. It's not automatically there. You click on credit facility and it basically processes your order without payment. You then, of course, you do your deliveries, you get your cash. You can either bank that then at your local post office or your local bank, whichever way you prefer to do that. And then if it shows the same day, brilliant. Or it may be at the very latest, it's normally the next day at the most, unless it's a check. That prolongs it all, unfortunately. But when you're dealing with cash, usually by later that day or the very next morning, you can then have that balance in your account to be able to pay HQ. And you just log in and it's like an outstanding order, the credit facility. Your order's still sat there. It won't process the order again, but you have to process the payments at the end of an order, of that said order, if you see what I mean. You just click on it and it brings up the payment page at the end again. And you use whichever card, whatever way you're doing it to pay them. Very straightforward.
And how much is the facility that you can apply for, Joe? Just to
250 is the minimum, maximum at the moment. I think down the line they may increase it for certain people who demonstrate that, one, they need a bigger credit facility. Two, they are making sure that they pay within the limits. They may extend it. At the moment, it is a maximum of £250. I don't know what that is in euros, whatever it works out in euros.
Over 300 in euros.
Is it?
So that was a
10 days to pay it in.
pardon?
7.
7 working days. 7 working days. So this last week with the double bank holiday, it got slightly confused because they've got a 7 working day automated process of emails coming out to remind you where you're up to, which just caused a bit of confusion because they've not taken double bank holiday into account when they've set that up. But, you know...
And there's not that many, as you say, there's not that many double bank holidays. There's just...
No. Easter and Christmas are the only double bank holidays you're going to get.
And
the rest of the time, it's just the one. Just a Monday usually,
right.
And the next one now will be August, I think, unless you guys might have a different one. August bank holiday is the next one.
Yeah.
I don't think we have one in August. I think that's for the
Yes,
start.
we do.
Do we?
Yes.
Right at the end of August usually.
You never know the bank holidays when you're working for yourself 30 odd years. The other thing I was going to say, just because a good point that Jane made, it's the same in Livingston where I am, and I'm in a big town, and we don't have a Clydesdale bank anymore either, Virgin Money, but we don't have a bank. You can't even pay money into the post office unless you have your bank card, so it's not really a facility. Yeah. It's not like a banking facility, you can take money in and out. So maybe Jane would like to explain for people like us and in other areas who may...
I don't know whether that's... is that the Scottish Post office?
No, it's Virgin Money. It used to be the Clydesdale Bank, and I'm now with what's called Virgin Money. Clydesdale Bank in Scotland, I don't know, must be the same in your area.
Well, the post office will accept anybody. Anybody with your card. The post office will accept anybody with your bank card and the cash. And you can also withdraw money at the post office with your bank card.
As long as you've got your bank card, but
you have to have your bank card, of course, yeah.
I know, because I keep losing my bank card, but I just wondered if it would take longer through the post office, but that's maybe a good point.
From memory, when I've used the post office, it tends to take, it's the next day that you see it showing up in your account. It's just one of those things, but that's why I was suggesting that anyone who's going to use postpay, if they're using a post office in Scotland, then they may have just, take that into consideration.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Is it that just a Scotland thing and they're shutting down branches, or is that?
No, it's everywhere.
Is that the same with you guys down south?
Yeah, I mean, our post office is now sort of piggybacks on our local co-op. They've sort of, instead of losing a post office altogether, they were given just a corner of the co-op. Really, is where they are now, and I think it's become a different kind of shop where the post office actually was. But it is they're very good there. It's if you get there, I find the official ruling was 2 p.m. If I go in before 2 p.m. and buy cash, it shows immediately that day in the bank. But I have been in later, and by the time I get home and look at my account, it's there.
Right.
So I think that depends on your post office, perhaps, how efficient they are. I don't know.
It will depend. Yes, our post office is only open 12 till 4, unless, of course, they're part of a shop.
Yes.
They will have a they'll have a cut-off time for close of business, but that aside, so the post-pay account is working fine.
Yeah, provided you follow the rules. You know, well, like anything, Jane, like anything.
That's exactly right, Joe.
And they're sending out gentle reminder emails, a polite reminder is how it comes out.
Right.
As to, you know, a man actually came on the Wednesday, as I paid them on the Wednesday anyway. I could get the deliveries out faster, but I have a system where I have my customers trained what day I go on and things like that. So, for example, I'm having to think about, I pick my catalogues up on a Monday, but I can't do a post-pay order on a Monday and turn it round in time. So I'm not ordering until, at the very least, Wednesday, if not Thursday morning, and then it arrives with a prerequisite length of time for me to go and put it out. It's just the way I work it. So I've got...
That's right. Everybody needs to work it to suit themselves.
Yeah, and I've got the cash for my shopping and my petrol from the commission that week, and that's how it works out.
Yeah. Jeff, do you have set days to try to put catalogues out, things like that?
Can you repeat that, Jane? Do I have what?
Do you have set days, you know, to turn around and things like that?
Yeah.
Pattern?
We've carried over from the previous company, so we always used to put out Friday for Monday and Tuesday for Thursday. So the customer base we leave over the weekend and we put out on Friday, but for blanket dropping, we'll do the Tuesday for Thursday as well. I was rather hoping I'd got enough that I could get free delivery each time, but of course, since the free deliveries increased up to 250 distributor points, 333 retail, that's pushed me a bit further. So Michael keeps pushing the envelope on me and I keep having to work harder.
And is it fair to say, I mean, when you're building a customer base, I know that many people prefer to amass their orders and not pay for delivery, and I can understand that. However, in my experience, and you can have a chat about this, I find that if I can say I will be here with your order on, I don't put myself under pressure to make sure I've got enough for a free delivery, and I find it builds a better customer base.
I appreciate that, Jane, but my problem is that I've started a new area which I did last week, and I'd actually knocked and presented, and I presented to about 60 houses. And I picked up the first time round 2 very big orders and one, and I'm not sure I picked up a third order. Second time round, I picked up 2 orders again, but it was 1 new customer. This time, which is the third time round, and we were approaching the Jubilee weekend, I picked up no orders whatsoever. And there just aren't enough orders coming in to be able to guarantee that. And when my customer base is a bit more mature, yes, I do want to do that. I do want to give people a note saying, thank you for your order, I will deliver it on. But sadly, I'm not there yet. And now delivery.
Do that with your customer base, Jeff? Sorry.
Yeah.
Your existing customer base, do you do that with that? Then?
No, I don't, because I still haven't got enough information to guarantee that I'm going to get when I'm going to get the delivery.
Yeah. Okay.
It's somewhat hit and miss when you're more in a routine and they're better trained and they actually put their catalogues out when you ask them to, it is much easier. And of course, I also want to, my customers now know roughly when I'm coming. So I've just been out today delivering the order that came. I was hoping it was going to come the Saturday of the Jubilee weekend, but it didn't. It didn't come until Tuesday, yesterday even. And I've delivered it today. And out of the 35 or so orders, I've only got 3 that I haven't caught yet who don't appear to be around. I've just had a text from one of them to deliver tomorrow after 6. So my customers have a fair idea when I'm going to come.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are trained enough that they actually put the money in a little packet and fold it away and stick it by the side, which is brilliant. But I've also got a card reader, which a lot of people find useful. And people say, oh, I haven't got the cash. Can you take card? So I get out the card reader and my phone, and that works very well.
What does that cost you, Jeff? Just out of
Thanks, Joe.
It would cost around 20 or 30 quid to buy, and then they take a percentage of the price. It's something like, I think, 1.5%.
Of whatever payments go through, Jeff.
Yeah, just a minute.
What make is that one, Jeff?
I've got a sum up.
Sum up?
Yeah.
Sum up, which I think is probably one of the better ones and one of the most well known, I think, as well.
Yeah,
I recognise that now showing it me. What's it like in bad reception areas, Jeff?
it doesn't seem to be. Just a minute, I've got a duck under the table. My battery's just done. I've got to turn the mains on. No, it's behind me. Here we go.
I know that Kate uses one as well, but we could ask Kate. I know she might not make it on tonight, but God, it's 9:15 already.
See your card reader, Joe, am I wrong in saying, Jeff, that it will work if the householder has Wi-Fi?
Yeah, it'll work on Wi-Fi. I've even had people pay me with their phones with this. Yesterday, I had someone pay me with their watch. Got a smart watch, and they paid me with that.
So even if the household has Wi-Fi, regardless of it being in a bad reception area, it will pick up on the household's Wi-Fi, will it?
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's good to know, because the top end of where a lot of my day job cleaning clients are, it's only just out on the moors here. It's only about 1.5 miles away, but you might as well in the back of beyond in some places. It's terrible.
Back of beyond, Joe.
Yeah, back of beyond.
Get out onto the Lancashire moors, you might as well talk to yourself. There's no reception.
Isn't it funny?
Let me just go and get my phone.
How things differ from area to area.
Yeah.
I don't get people wanting to pay by card. Like, there's a no, can you come back for the cash? There's only very few people who'll pay by card.
Jeff's gone, that's because he's trying to charge
I think that's maybe...
Yeah, he's out of power, I think.
Trying to charge his battery, but that would be fair to say that Jane is very remote. She's like rural. Yeah, what about you guys?
I do bank transfer.
Yeah, I must admit some of mine do that as well, yeah.
Yeah, I find that easier. And it doesn't cost us anything.
Doesn't cost anything.
You're right. And most people have a banking app now, Amanda.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, you know, they just key it in and it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to add to the sum up machine, like phones, you pay by your phone anywhere. You don't need the internet, it still works. But I think with the sum up, it's the same, it like holes in your phone, so you get by internet, then it submits the information. So you don't need internet coverage, I think.
Yeah,
I'll say that again slowly. So what you're saying is...
Yeah. With the sum up, I don't think you need the internet for it. It stores it in the app on your phone. And when you get it downloads it. It's like when you go somewhere, because I use my phone everywhere to pay for everything like a card. I just chip and pin it through my phone. But I don't know the internet. It still works regardless. If that helps.
Yeah,
right.
Makes sense.
So I don't know if you can see my screen. I know it doesn't look like you can, but I get
No, it
a
doesn't.
I get a screen up and I just put the amount in, press checkout, and then it goes to this, and you get a display on here, and I just touch the top of the card, and we're there. The only problem I've had once or twice is my phone wouldn't talk to the machine. They'd had some
Yeah.
kind of tiff sometimes, so I had to turn one off and start it again. But you know, they'd obviously had a domestic, and I didn't know understand what it was, but I turned one off and just rebooted it, and it was fine.
That's what happens with technology, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something that we've used a lot in the past, but I know more and more people are using it. I know for a fact that Kate's got one. I know Tracy. Do you know anything about Tracy Hanson's got one, Angela? Do you know anything about her one? Do you know what it costs her at all?
Do I know what?
It costs her at all? Charges?
The same as Jeff's got. She's got a sum up.
The same as Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm like Jane. I've never had anyone ask me if they can pay by card.
No, the
But
Yeah, I must admit, the one or two that have asked me that question, like you're saying, Nigel, they tend to have they have a banking app on the phone anyway, and they'll just transfer it.
yeah.
Thinking about it.
That's right.
It's getting crazy where you can just do that with your phone, isn't it?
Well, with your watch is even worse, isn't it? You just
Because that's what I mean, your phone and your watch. My big sister, I've been trying to set up Apple Pay for her on her watch, and she's going, surely you can't do it on your watch. And I'm like, yeah, you can. It's the same with your phone.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing. Here you go. Here's your Viva money. It's changed times. Might be worthwhile seeing what Kate and that uses if people are interested in.
It's sum up.
Is it sum up?
Yeah.
So that's the most common one. So it's 1.8%.
Yeah, I can't think of the value offhand, but yeah, it's a small percent, and it saves me going back. And you know, with the cost of petrol, if you can save that journey,
You've got to be so clever. Whereas it now, you've got to plan everything.
Yeah.
What I've been doing recently with my retail, and I know my retail is much different from a lot of people, but we put out on a Thursday because that suited us. Even when we were turning round, we used to pick up on a Thursday and put straight back out. Again, because you're rural, you know, you were it saved a lot of toing and froing. So we put out on a Thursday, we collect on a Monday. If I don't get them on a Monday, I'm always back on a Thursday with orders in that street. And what I've been doing is saying to them, giving them a note or texting them saying, I was round, sorry I missed you. I came round to collect the catalogue. I won't be back until Thursday. If there's something you want to order, I'm putting it through tonight at 9 o'clock. So if they want something, they'll text me if they want it that week. If not, I go on a Thursday night for the catalogue. So have a look at your planners and see how you can, you know, juggle it and just start. We have to adapt. We have to adapt to suit us, because at the end of the day, we want to make money. We're not doing it for anyone's good other than, well, we come first, don't we? What's in it for me? That's where you come from. So, you know, if you're sitting there thinking about your retail, how it's maybe, you know, the cost of fuel and things like that, have a think about it, see how you can redo it. You don't have to stick to the same, and just change your slips. Sorry I missed you. I'll be back on Thursday night. You know.
Yeah, there's none of this, and there's something else, but good point, Jane. Sorry. It's a good point, and what I was going to say is about new people. It's something that perhaps when we're teaching new people, and I know we've not got loads of new people in at the moment, but hopefully that will change, is to work the retail and cost saving journeys.
Yeah.
There's none of this going back and going back and going back, like what we used to teach with the old clean easy style.
That's
And
right.
it's not just to do with fuel. Correct me if I'm wrong, because you guys are all big, larger catalogue retailers than I am. Correct me if I'm wrong, but even the hardened retailers wouldn't do the old go back 3 times for your book, like we used to teach with Clean Easy. I knew that because we've grown for there. There's loads of ways to communicate. Do you know what I mean? And I'm going to cough, so I'm going to pass it back to you.
I think we've all kind of adapted and evolved, but sometimes because we've been trained to go back 3 times, make sure you get your stragglers, sometimes we don't want to tell the rest of us that we have adapted and evolved.
Well, I'm saying it out loud.
Eh? No,
I'm
that's
saying it
right.
out loud tonight.
No, but
Recorded.
it's true, you know, so, but when it comes to, you know, people said to me, you know, I would never do catalogues Thursday to Monday. I think, well, tough. I don't want to spend Friday putting catalogues out. That's my choice.
That's right.
You know,
Everybody's system.
That's my choice.
Can I ask a question then? This pay, what's it called? Pay to go?
Post pay.
Post pay. For a new person, it's available. I take it.
It may be available.
It's not available yet.
No.
This is why I got you to do the Zoom tonight and no me.
They have to apply for it.
Yeah.
And
No, that's what I meant. You have to apply for it, but it's available to be applied for.
Yes.
For a new person. It's not
I
something.
think it's £100, so is that right, Jeff, Joe?
That's what I thought it was 100.
I'm not, I need to go back to, I can't remember now.
I thought
See if
for
I can find
somebody
the
with
email.
no history, it was 100, but.
Well, that would make sense. Let me just, you carry on. I'll scroll back for the email and see what I can find, read what it says.
Amanda and Nigel, you're on holiday again. But you can still give any detailed tips or any tips you want to give for new people that are watching.
Yeah, I'd like to give one good tip for any new person starter which is struggling with cash. You can actually get a post office credit card. And I think nearly anybody can get one of those. And they give you £200 credit straight away. It's very rare you don't get it. Another thing as well with the customer books, we haven't gone back for years. We only ever go the once, put a ticket through and say, sorry, I missed you. If you'd like to order, phone us. If not, keep the book to next month. And we've done that for years, haven't we? And people know what to do. And if they're on holiday and they come back, they phone up anytime within the month and we have the order. The only time we go back for catalogues is when I'm blanket dropped in. Because I'm there every day, it's all right going back. But 8, 9 years we haven't done it. But because we had some areas, which is about 5 miles, we might have one book in the area, and it's a long way at the way. I thought that's just wasting time on energy when I could be doing on something else. The summer. Sometimes they do offers, they're £17 to buy instead of 30.
Sometimes what?
I missed that as well.
Don't speak too quickly.
I know he's like the Scottish, speaks quick like us.
What Jeff was on about, the summer card reader.
Yes.
Oh, some of the card readers.
Yeah, they do offers, and they're £17 sometimes.
Right,
Oh,
so it's
the
pretty
card-
much, well,
Yeah.
here's a thing that you could help with then. When you see an offer on the likes of Sum Up card readers, why not pop it up on Lynn's group? Let people know if anybody's looking for one, it's on offer.
The reason I found they become an offer, if you Google on your phone the sum up, then Facebook picks up what you're looking at. And within a few weeks, it chucks up offers to you to say,
They bung up your,
that's how I found it become due, because I looked myself, but Mandy said no. Then said no.
I said no.
but always remember, people that do this business for the tax man, what you get charged a percentage of every transaction, you can offset that with your tax as well. That's one to know.
I must admit, I like you, I use just, you know, if someone says to me, it's usually, can we do a bank transfer? And because everybody's got apps,
Yeah.
I really, you know, I that's what I do. I don't have sum up.
No.
I haven't got
Put my
one.
hand up.
I just say to my customers that I will take a check, cash, or bank transfer. And because they know it's those three and nothing else, they don't bother to ask me anything else.
I
True.
don't mention checks ever. I stopped taking checks years ago because, and it's
Mandy-
amazing.
I've got some little old ladies that don't do bank transfer. Sometimes with all this going on, they haven't been able to get to the shops to get any
That's
money
fair enough.
for them to pay by check. Very
I-
rare.
and that is,
Yeah, I've got about 3 that do that.
Yeah,
yeah,
very
just-
better for
I
them.
would suggest you don't advertise it though, because
No.
more and more banks are closing. And
Yeah,
it
yeah.
takes, you're talking 7 days in the post office for clearing checks. And, you know, that makes a difference between someone being able to pay their order. And I know of one chap in a business who, when he was saying he would take checks, he was maybe getting 3 or 4 a week, which was really holding him back. It was helping the customer, but you know, you got to get the balance.
It didn't matter with cleaning, clean easy, because you paid by
That's
paying
right.
in slip at the post office anyway, didn't you? And
Mhm.
clean easy had to wait for the check to clear. It wasn't our problem, but it's a
That's right.
different thing now.
Yeah.
Do you get many checks, Amanda? Or is it just your old customers you've had for a while?
Very rare I get a check. But
One a month, I reckon.
yeah,
Oh,
but
that's not bad then.
no, it's very rare.
It's
I actually
people.
thought checks were going to be done away with. Have they not? Did they
I think
still-
the problem is with COVID and stuff like that, you've got people who are still, they're not going out. How are they going to, like, how can they go and get cash? It's
The-
other
the-
people as well. They don't
Well-
do apps, they don't do bank transfer. It's just not,
Well,
they're not in their
reason-
mind space. They've not even got mobile phones, you know, it's,
the way they managed to get businesses to stop using checks is they made it so expensive in bank charges.
Yeah.
So it was cheaper for a business to make a bank gyro, you know, a bank transfer.
Mhm.
So that kind of business checks dropped. And now the reason they take 7 days to clear, which they don't,
I can't
they
find
take a
the email
maximum of
post here.
3.
Mm.
But and that's how they're trying to do it with personal accounts. They're telling you it'll take 7 days to clear. So it's discouraging people rather than saying you're not going to issue a check.
I can't going blind on my phone trying to find this email. I'm scrolling like an idiot.
Don't
I'll find
worry.
it.
I do remember roughly, and I think it's for new people. I think probably £100 is going to be more common than 250.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's £100. I think it's 100, but they've got to put through. I don't know whether it's 3 orders and pay for them before they get
Before they
it.
get yeah, I think
Right,
that rings a bell, Amanda. Well done.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm
That
lost.
rings a bell.
Am I lost? Is this because I'm not feeling well? I've got a bit lost.
New people.
Post pay.
Yeah.
No, when you were saying
Postpaid,
about
new people, although they can apply for it, Amanda's just reminded us that they have to put 3 orders through and pay for them up front before they can apply for the post pay.
and is there a limit on that order, Amanda?
Is it over 3? Have they got to do it within 3 months or something?
No, but how much an order? They could put 3 £10 orders. There must be. Is there no a limit?
There was a limit, but I can't think what it is.
Joe's still busy looking for the email.
I'm going cross-eyed here. I didn't realise how many flaming emails there were on my phone.
I've got it. I've got it, but I've not got my.
Then you put it in your search, Joe.
I found the email, but I've not got my glasses on, so
What date is it? Do you know?
I will
It was
tell
the
you
beginning
right
of the
now.
period,
was
wasn't
only
it? I don't
just
think
a
I went
couple
back
days
far enough.
yesterday. I
So
would
back
say.
end of April.
Oh, are you looking for the pay one?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, Joe, you applied just over 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
you-
well, that's the terms and conditions for me as an existing distributor. It won't be the same as it would be for a new starter. That's the issue.
No, but what I'm saying is your email is probably dated about 3 days before you applied. So if you applied 14 days ago, 15, 16, say between 20 and 16 days, let's get the logical brain in here. Jeff, you're an engineer. You're
I've
supposed
gone
to have a
cross-eyed,
logical
that's the issue.
brain.
No,
Yes,
no, my brain's on holiday at the moment.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
I-
yeah,
yeah,
it's taken.
it's looking this-
I've checked out the sum up on Screwfix. They were doing an offer when they first started selling these that you could have the charger base station as well. They currently sell them for $29.99, and it says they charge 1.69%.
1.69. Most of the money is going to be in the percentages. So the gadgets, the more people that use them, the cheaper they'll get. And that's probably why what Nigel said is, if you are thinking, but it is a good idea. If you just Google up card reader, then your wee Google ads will start to give you all the offers. All these wee Google ads, Nigel, you've just made me like them when I absolutely hate them. You know, because you Google a pair of shoes and then you keep getting these adverts of like, relevant. But that's a good way to get a deal. To get a deal.
Well,
So it's now 2 minutes past 9.
I know, I kind of went really quick. Is that because I was relaxing and not doing anything?
No,
I found it. I found it.
well, hallelujah.
Right, so we'll get the answer to this.
New starters joining on an online starter kit need to have placed and paid £50 plus in orders in a 3-month period.
Right, okay.
This could be a single or cumulative order. You will then be able to have a starting limit of £100 on request. New starters joining on a standard starter kit can have a £100 facility on request. New starters joining on an executive kit can have a £150 facility on request. But in all 3 instances, they must have put at least £50 worth of orders in 3 months and paid for them.
Like, before you stop reading that, I have a question that might not be in that email. What happens if you're an online seller, as some people join online because they don't want
I think we covered that in the email, didn't we, Joe?
That's what I was wondering, because if I got a customer order for Jane and I put that through, that's not coming out of my pocket. So I would think it will be 3 personal orders delivered to you
Not sure.
and paid by your card, because otherwise, if it's coming, is it?
Yeah.
That's what I would have thought.
Yeah.
I'm just
Well,
letting Kate know that we're still on.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Thank
for
you.
that
Sorry about that.
Thanks, Jeff.
I need to
and
clear my phone
Amanda.
down. It's ridiculous.
No, I'm glad. The great thing is if we all share information, because there are a lot of emails come from head office, and not everybody will read and understand everything. So
what Jane's
anyway,
actually saying is most of us only scan, read them, and then wait until we get a Zoom.
well, no,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Some of us will make better sense of some of them than others. You know, it's
It's
just,
also the question about how do you increase your limit. Increases on the above amounts will only be eligible for review after 3 orders have been placed using post pay and been paid for, basically.
Say that at the end, but again, using it 3
orders using post pay, processed and paid for. You can then apply to have it. You're in your
increased.
Yeah. And they'll take it at that point, whether they decide to move forward with it or not. It's going to be very personal, I think, personally tailored, because they are managing it in-house, aren't they? It's not being done
That's-
through a credit
that's
company or
in-house.
anything. So
So just to clarify then, for a new person, it would be 3 orders that they've ordered and paid for by your own credit card or debit card and being delivered to them. 50, but it's very low actually. It's quite easy to
yeah,
achieve that.
I mean, £50 over 3 months is nothing, is it?
No,
It's not.
No.
I realised it was, oh, I'm having a visit from the dog on my miniature pony. I will very quickly. Maybe not. You can come and see.
Is that
come and
sum
see
up?
Cole.
Jane's going to pick her horse up.
I forgot you got one.
It's at 1.75%.
Here I am. Here I am. All 21 kilos of me. Oh, here you go, darling. What the heck?
Abby's just come home. I'd forgotten. She's got a card reader called Square,
Square.
and they are £16. It looks just the same as yours, Jeff. It's the sum
Yeah.
up one. And it's a standard transaction fee of 1.75%. And that's pretty much across the board, that.
Yeah, that sounds very similar. It's yeah,
Square.
a few points of percent less.
And it doesn't print receipts, but you can put emails in. And
That's right. It doesn't print receipts, but you can email a receipt to the customer if they want it.
Yeah, same with us. We can notify them either by email or SMS. So
I completely forgotten she'd got one when I'm asking you about it, Jeff. Sorry.
yeah. It's quite easy to forget, Abigail. No, it's not.
don't be silly, don't be silly.
I hear her, Gobby in the background.
I can use COVID as an excuse because apparently your memory's bad with it.
So
I'm
is
still
it.
having
Anyway,
problems.
I now know it's 21:07.
Right, or we need to shut up.
Nigel and Amanda, enjoy
Can
the
I-
rest of your break. Have a
lovely
lovely
holiday.
time.
Can I
Have a
say
great
something?
time.
Next week it'll be Michael's Zoom
So it will.
on Thursday.
On the Thursday.
Last week when I was ill, before that, Jane had asked for volunteer trainers. So for the next again week, which is 2 weeks tonight, I'm hoping to get some wee messages in my wee inbox with somebody who'd like to do training on anything you want. And I will put this into the Rhino group. So because there's only a wee handful of us on tonight. But for the next one, because it's Michael's one next Thursday, so I have a brilliant last week. We will have hopefully some volunteers trainings. And thank you, Jane, for holding the fort.
Can I add something to your volunteer training though? It
Mhm.
could be 10 minutes of telling your story.
Could be, that's right. Good.
Thank God my memory is better than hers.
All right. Listen, just for you who were late on, when Jane came on, I said, do I look terrible? And she went, yeah.
I didn't make a face, I smiled.
No, but I was thinking when I went on camera, I thought, didn't it look as bad as I feel? Anyway, yeah. Listen,
Okay,
thanks so
anyway.
much, Jane, for everything you
Good
did.
night.
Good night. You can go if you want. I can keep talking.
Thank you
but
for
I'll-
joining.
I won't, because I'll probably start coughing. We'll see you all on the Zoom on Thursday and
Yeah.
next 2 weeks. Sorry,
Yeah.
she wants me to go.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
It's lovely to see you all. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye. I didn't need to cancel. I'm trying to get, I don't know how to get. How you
we don't.
doing? I'm not very well.
Figure that one out.
Eh? I've
We
still
figured
got, yous are swinging. Your chair's swinging.
You sat outside, I keep moving.
You're sitting in the sun in a swingy chair and I'm sitting here dying of COVID. I've got COVID and I've had it for nearly 2 weeks now. It can last for weeks. I've just found out it can last, even for people who get it mild, it can last for 2 to 4 weeks. And so
We went before we come away, wasn't we? From my birthday, 21st of April, we've been both really bad. We've been working, we've been so drained and so unwell.
Tired.
And it's probably the week before we come away, we started feeling better. It's been a struggle.
it's what, sorry?
It's been a struggle for both of us.
What we
Mandy had to
did-
go to get some antibiotics. She had a bad chest. You done a COVID test, but it was all negative. But we had something.
You see, got to watch though, because I did a COVID test yesterday. Because I know I've still got COVID in my system, I did a test and it was negative, and I did one today and it's positive again. So some of them didn't work, so you've got to take more than one. But
It is what it is with COVID now. You got to live with it. If you get, you get.
it is what it is. I agree with that, but I actually quite genuinely, I've got it quite bad in my lungs, and I'm still like tonight. I didn't know I wasn't going to even come on the Zoom. I was getting Jane to do it, but I thought I want to make an appearance, and I thought I looked all right. Jane said I didn't look all right, but I thought I looked all right. But you're tired. You've got pains in your lungs. You keep coughing. I laid down in the bed. That genuinely laid on the bed at 7:30 after doing the garden for half an hour, and woke up the next morning with my coat on, my coat and everything. I hadn't moved. That was after I'm supposed to be better.
I was like that. You do need to get in the fresh air and walk, so it helps you breathe. It's hard going, but
you fear to go out because you know you're positive and you know you've still got these symptoms.
Wear a mask if you're worried. But you need to get work, you need to get your lungs working, you go over quicker. But wear a mask. But we've just come on an airplane, they're not requiring masks anywhere. They don't even want to see a COVID passes. There's nothing over here, is there? That's quite a shock, really.
Well, I got it back. I just came back from Spain with it.
Yeah, a lot of people come back on the planes, not very well.
Yeah, but about 4 of the other lasses got it on our group. They got it, and they only had it for 3 days, and I've had it now for over 2 weeks.
Yeah, get back on the plane and take it back over there.
Pardon?
Get back on the plane and take it back over there.
You're looking well anyway. I like your dress, Amanda. That's a lovely colour. It suits you. Oh, I didn't know you were awake. I've literally been out yet. I'll probably I've got 2 weeks now to recover for the next Zoom.
We thought you'd been
so much happening though. You miss out. It feels like I've been off for eternity because I do hen do and then I've had COVID and it feels like weeks since I've been working. And do you think that Zoom went okay tonight?
Yeah, brilliant.
Jacob's all right. I was worrying if there's enough to keep people interested.
No, and any Zoom, any talk about anything interests some people. Sometimes it doesn't, but no, we find them pretty good, don't we?
Yeah. Well, we always tune in when we can.
I know.
Last one.
Yeah, the last one I was horrendously busy.
That's right. You finished at 9. The one that I was
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock at night and finished.
Was it 11? I got muddled. It was Jane that was saying Amanda had finished late, or you'd sent me a message, said I hadn't been on it anyway because that was my hen do week.
Yes, we did go on in the car, wasn't we?
No. I think it was the hen do week. You wasn't on that one.
Yeah, because Jane sent me a message to say that she she said, I've really missed you. Are you okay? And I put back in. I was just very, very busy. I'm very sorry we didn't tune in. I didn't know whether I was coming or going.
She would be worried there was something wrong with you because you guys never miss a Zoom.
No.
You never. Yeah. Or she might be thinking, oh, did she know it was just me? She'll be taking the person. We didn't know it was just her because I forgot to tell you about the hen do. Like, I'm going to scoot. Well, I've got a COVID reprieve and going to go and get myself some nice hot milk and sugar.
Well, you going to take care of yourself.
Yeah, I'll speak to you soon. It's good to see you. Have a nice rest of your holiday.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.